that time of the year again to start preparing for this year's heating season and also start getting ready for next year's. So I've been using that dump trailer to move a lot of my wood that I've had. This stuff's been seasoned for a couple of years now, and been moving it up by the house here. I like to put it on the south side of the garage there, so it gets it really good. It always gets the sun and it dries out really good before we use it. So I've been filling the trailer up and bringing it up, and turns out that the dump trailer holds just a little bit over 2 face cords. There you can see one load when it's filled, just thrown in there to the top. So I've got a couple more loads to bring up to get ready, but in the meantime, I really ran out of time this year to get out in the woods and start knocking down firewood for next year to get ready, and I decided to actually take the easy way out. I saw a ad on that Facebook Marketplace for a fellow had log loads that he was selling. So I contacted him, and a really nice guy. He said it would be about 2 weeks before he could get to my house with one, and less than 2 weeks later I got a call. He was on the way, and would be bringing a good load. You can see it. It came on one of those big logging trucks, ones with the self-unloading boom on it and stuff, and a little bit of a tight fit to get it down where I wanted it, but no problem. He was able to just back in there up to my house and then just pull down on the side of the hill there. Now, usually I spend several weeks going in the woods and knocking down trees and cutting them up and bringing up as much wood as I can. So I really didn't have any time this year, and getting kind of tough to pull what's left out of the woods at times. So, it's kind of limited access, and you have to carry it for a long way. So I decided to, just try out one of these log loads and just see how it would work out. And there you can see it's it looks to me like it's a really nice load. I was told it should be between 17 and 20 face cords by the time I get done splitting it up and stacking it and stuff. And this is, this first part of the video here is him unloading the actual load. I think it took a total of about 6 minutes for the entire truck to be unloaded, which I thought was pretty amazing. And I pretty much I have the video of it. This is real-time video of it unloading, so there is going to be a 6-minute part of this. And you can see first thing he did is he took a couple of logs and laid them down crosswise there so he could stack the other on top of it to keep it out of the dirt. And he really was really good with that arm. He was able to just grab onto one load at a time and spin it around and just set it right in place there. Now some of these logs are up to like 22, almost 2 feet in diameter by 20 feet long. So they probably weigh well over a ton each. And some of the bigger ones that you see there, and these smaller ones, he grabs a whole handful there at a time. But it sure makes it look easy to unload. And it's funny, you really don't realize just how much wood it actually takes to heat a house for a season until you see it all loaded on one big truck like this. And you say, "Wow, that's a lot of wood, and it's going to be a lot of work." But so this was I decided to take the easy way out, and I've got a video here showing just unloading it and starting to cut it up a little bit. And in the end, I'll do another video probably next spring once I get everything all split and stacked to just let you know exactly how much wood I did wind up with in the end. But I just really enjoyed sitting there watching them unload this. You can see he just sits up on the seat on the crane up there and on that big arm, and really uses it like fingers to go down in there and just grab what he wants. And there's a couple outriggers that go down to the ground there on both sides that kind of keep the truck from rocking sideways and stuff. But really makes it look like an easy job. And he did do a really good job of keeping a nice, neat pile of it. Now, this load that I bought actually was a fresh cut load, so all this wood was basically cut in the last day or two. So it's definitely not ready to burn until at least next year. I usually like to let the wood season a little bit over a year, but they also did offer loads that were cut last year, I guess, and all pre-dried and ready to be cut up and burned this winter too, if you wanted to spend a little bit more. But I figured that I'd go with the fresh cut here, and it really turns out to be easier for me to cut up and everything. So, and there you can see this is still real time, and there's some really nice sized logs on there, and there's some small stuff, and it's actually a really nice mixture of cherry, maple, ash, and a couple other species in there that I'm not quite sure of yet. So when he first pulled in, it was amazing. It didn't really, look like there was all that much on the truck, but as the pile slowly but surely starts growing, you can, see it is a pretty good stack of wood there. Yeah, you can see that this guy really knows what he's doing with that arm, and he's really good at just kind of setting them crossways here so that the pile stands and doesn't go rolling apart or anything too. If this works out from now on, this may be the way that I go. Just leave the, with the timbers growing in my yard, leave that. I've gotten out most of the bad ash that have been attacked by the emerald ash borer, so hopefully some of the other different types of native trees will grow back now. This definitely was was fun to watch. In the truck, it looks like those arms on the truck are about, it's 8 feet between them, I think, and actually it looks like they're probably about 9.5 feet tall, so you can figure out the cubic feet from there. So you can see that didn't really take that long for him to unload the entire truck there, and everything is stacked up in a neat pile. I did find out later that it does take some doing to get these bigger logs down off the pile, because some of them were probably close to a ton apiece, so you have to be real careful when you start ripping it apart. But there you can see it. It took actually less than 10 minutes to get the whole truck unloaded, and he was just on his way, and didn't take long at all. So now I have to start cutting it up into the blocks that I'm going to be splitting for firewood next. I must say he was really a great young fellow to deal with, and I feel that I really did get my money's worth out of that log load. He gave me exactly what was promised, so I'm happy with that. And there you can see it's a pile about, I don't know, maybe about 7 feet tall, and about 20 feet long, and probably, I don't know, 12 feet wide or something like that. All different sized logs mixed in, and you can see there's a couple nice cherry logs here. One of them I'm going to be sawing up, and there's also another nice ash there that I'm going to cut that crook off of it, use that to saw up. And in the end, I did actually find a spalted maple log in there too that I'm going to be sawing up. So, probably the value of the lumber from the couple logs I'm going to saw will be half of what I paid for the whole log load. So it's time to get out the old Echo saw there. That's that Echo CS 590 they call it, and I've gotten a lot of use out of this saw over the years, and it's really a great running saw. It always starts first pull, and it's got plenty of power for stuff like this. Unlike the old steel that I used to have, that thing would I had a MS 290 farm boss that would just struggle with logs, this big, and this thing actually goes right through them. Now I should actually have my chaps on here. I kind of got lazy and I didn't put them on for this video, but they really do add a level of protection to you. And actually I don't have any earmuffs on because I just mute my hearing aids and I don't hear anything anyway, so that kind of gets rid of the noise from me. But you can see that that Echo goes right through this stuff, no problem. Some of these logs are up to 2 foot diameter, so they should make some really nice wood when they're blocked up and split. And actually, you can see my little John Deere back there with the loader on, and I did use that to start pushing the pile apart. I didn't really want to be in front of it when I started rolling the logs down and stuff, so I just grabbed them over on that side there with the loader bucket and just started shoving them down. And I'm just kind of trying to deal with whatever is easily accessible at the time and up off the ground to make it easy to cut there. So, this is just the first day starting on it, and I did get quite a bit started, but the trouble is when you don't do this every day, you really do get sore quick. It's not like when you go out in the woods and you cut down a tree and you just take that one tree out in pieces. This is like it just, it's just there and it just keeps, you could just keep going without stopping. Now, looking at that pile all there in one place and stuff, it looks kind of scary, but it's the reality of, what it does take to heat a house with. I'll probably use at least 3/4 of that during next winter to heat with. So I just, I wound up blocking it off. I'm going like between 16 and 18 inches on the lengths that I'm cutting it to. And then I'm just kind of trying to carry them out of the way and, cut a little bit more, roll a couple more logs down, and I'm just going to take my time at it, and hopefully I'll get everything done and all cleaned up before the snow flies. Yeah, I have to tell you, heating with wood is definitely a good source of exercise, and the the fall when you're cutting it, and in the spring when you're splitting it and stacking it. That was just, I didn't really follow any kind of pattern or anything. I just would line up a couple logs to get them up off the ground so I could cut them. And you can see there was quite a bit of a, a nice hard maple in there. And there also was quite a bit of ash and cherry too. And he did throw a couple of little walnut logs in there because I told him I had a sawmill, but I wound up just cutting them up for firewood anyway. So, there's the start of my stack after an hour or two of, starting to cut the wood up. And actually, I didn't do that much more the first day. You'll see some of it there you can see is like 2 foot diameter, and there was actually a lot of dirt from skidding these out, it looked like, in the log. So I did have to do a lot of sharpening of the chain. Probably about every tank full of gas, I'd stop and I'd file the chain and stuff like that. And here you can see I'm getting a little further along. This is the second day here, and I've got that I'm starting to roll the logs down, and this is the pile. It's probably about, 40 feet long now, and it's 3 rows deep up to about 6 feet tall. So, it's starting to come together now, and it's going to be a pretty sizable stack when it's all cut up and done. And now I told you before the couple logs I'm going to cut on the sawmill, and there you can see there's a really beautiful cherry log there, and then there's a nice ash. I just have to cut that crook off the bottom there, and there'll be some nice straight wood out of there, I think. And there's also a nice spalted maple in there too that I'm going to try to saw up. So, hopefully that'll turn out good, and that will basically half pay for this stack of lumber anyway. But you can see it does take a lot of work to heat with wood. So I'm just gonna finish cutting this up now, and next spring when I get around to splitting it and stacking it, I'll do a quick follow-up video just to show how much I actually did get. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.